Are we live yet? Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Hopefully you guys can hear me now. Looks like we are live, and we've got a full schedule of events for Atomic Mass Games MiniStravaganza, which is going to be pretty interesting. It's strange. Or maybe I don't know how strange it is, but I was definitely expecting more meaty information, and it seems like it's very, very, very heavily focused on painting and hobbying. And so we're going to go through this whole schedule because, hey, I'm very glad that they shared this. I have a link for this in the description below. So if you want to check it out for yourself and follow along with me, you can certainly do that. But we are going to be talking about this this stream today. I want to give some more people a chance to come in and hop into it. And while we are getting set up, I want to remind you guys that I will be restreaming. Obviously not everything, because I'm not going to live stream for 3 days straight, but there are going to be certain events that I will be covering and live streaming for you guys, and they're going to probably not be the hobby streams. They'll probably be the streams where they actually talk about things. This will be a Twitch stream, but I will be streaming them on YouTube. So if you don't have Twitch or prefer to watch on YouTube, you can watch along here. And then, of course, we can do kind of a before and after, usually when there's like a big live stream or something like that, and I do kind of a stream along. What I normally do is I'll probably start about a half an hour prior, and then I will continue to go forward with all of that. Now there is, I don't know if if you guys have been following a lot of my videos lately. I've been having some voice problems, and so my voice is a little deeper now. It's somewhat stable, but it's not getting any better. And so I have some scans and some testing to be done this week, and there's always the chance that I may have to drop some things or whatever if it turns out to be something that is life-threatening or whatever, and I may have to just drop some streams. So if you just don't see me when I said I was going to stream, then that would probably be why. So just follow me on social media for all of those things. But pending any other craziness like that, then we'll be okay. Also, I want to talk about the giveaways too, because I'm going to be doing giveaways. The $25 Amazon gift card giveaway is going to be announced during this event from March 18th through 20th. So that will be announced. We're also going to be doing some other giveaways. We've got an Imperial Assault Ahsoka to give away, as well as promos. We'll be giving away promos. I'll try to have at least one giveaway every day, and so for you guys, I hope I feel better too. I hope we can just get something done, because they're doing some tests and to rule out. Hopefully they can rule out cancer. That would be great, because if it turns out to be throat cancer, that would be a problem. It would be a pretty big problem, because then if I don't know, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, because that'll be really bad. But yeah, and I'll also be announcing the Patreon winner of the Armada upgrade card collection too. So lots of giveaway winners are going to be announced. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk about the MiniStravaganza. So these times are not times, like, they're not timelines. It's not from 9 to 4 for the opening ceremonies. It is 9 Pacific, 4 GMT, so it's just different time zones. Now, if you're like me and you're on the East Coast, there's no easy option for you here. You're going to have to do some math. So I have to add +3 to all of the Pacific times. So if you are on the East Coast for their 9 o'clock, their 9 a.m. one, that's going to start at noon. So 9, 10, 11, 12, right? That's how we do it. And so at noon. So they're probably around 11:30. I will be starting because I will be streaming the opening ceremonies to kind of just kick things off, and you know, there because sometimes the opening ceremony is a time where they might say something like, if there's a new game, you know, they might be like, hey, and come check out Star Wars Pod Racer, you know, or whatever, you know, because there are a few gaps in the schedule. Now that could just be time off, but it looks like there's going to be each of these streams, like just about every AMG stream you have ever seen, is about an hour long. So the first stream is from 9 to 10 or 9 to 9:59, right? That's just kind of how they do scheduling. And then the next one is 10. And if you see the category here, right here, right? Fresh coats. So everything that says fresh coats, that's painting. I'm not going to be covering the painting ones. I may watch some of them, but personally, I'm a little bit less interested in the painting stuff. Like, I watch some of their painting streams, but you know, it's, you know, maybe one a week, you know, and if I happen to have the time, you know, and I don't mind kind of just chatting in the live stream. But this is almost all painting oriented. And so then there's all these different painting streams, and then hobby streams too, which are really kind of like painting streams. I kind of group those. They're not exactly the same, but they definitely feel similar. So we've got a painting stream, then we've got another painting stream at 11. And so they're, you know, one they're talking about metal paint, and one they're talking about painting heavy armor, which is, you know, dry brushing. And now, it is possible that they'll be painting one of the big new tanks for Star Wars Legion. That's kind of my guess, is that one will have some Legion stuff, since there are no heavy armor units in well, I guess there's a taco truck in a Marvel Crisis Protocol. And then when we get to noon, which is again 12, 1, 2, 3. So at 3 on Thursday, is the only Armada content we're going to get the entire 3-day weekend. And this is the thing that bugs me, because it's a shared panel. It's Armada and X-Wing. All wings report in. It says, join the development staff as they discuss the development, design, and what lies ahead for your favorite space-faring Star Wars games. Well, if you ask me, maybe this is just me overreacting, but like, that's scary, because like, why out of the whole 3-day convention is Armada and X-Wing being kind of squished into this tiny, like, there's a little bit more for X-Wing later on, but it's worrisome. Yeah, like JJ remembers, right? The hyper fake report. I remember Fantasy Flight tried this a long time ago. They tried like getting us all sold on this huge event, and it turned out just to be X-Wing 2nd edition. But they advertised it to all of the Star Wars, like Star Wars gaming news. Oh my gosh, there goes my throat again. It just randomly like closes on me mid-sentence sometimes now. So it's gonna make live streaming these a little easier, because I can just sit back and listen for a little while. Oh man. All right. So anyway, yeah. So the development staff is going to discuss development, design, and what lies ahead for 2 whole games. So for me, like, this is at least 6 panels right here, because development and design, I mean, you could stretch those. If I were running it, I would want to talk development. In other words, like, you know, maybe let's talk about Wave 10, designing Wave 10, have some Wave 10 spoilers, right? Design, talk about like what it's been like, you know, building into these games, what it's been like working on these games. Granted, they don't have the original Armada dev team, so let's talk about let's talk to the new devs. Do they even have people for Armada? You know, and if not by now, what are they waiting for? You know, so if I want to meet the new dev team, and there's nothing in here to meet the new dev team for Armada or X-Wing, I want to talk about, you know, these people, like, what's their gaming background, what's their philosophy, what's their approach to these games, and that sounds a lot like development and design, but that could easily be a whole hour per game, just talking about all of that stuff. And getting to know these people, what their, you know, how much have they played the game, what are their thoughts on the game. I want to know, you know, what their favorite list is, you know, things like that. And then a whole another panel could be the future. But at a minimum, it should be like one per game, right? How are they going to do X-Wing and Armada? And like they also said they were going to talk about all the spoilers and stuff. So how are you going to spoil Armada Wave 10 spoilers alone? I mean, you could do a whole panel on each ship. That could be 4 ships, four hour panels just showing us cards and talking about them with developers from each of these new waves. And like, and here's this, turbo laser upgrade, and this one's going to be really cool because it's going to let you do this. So one way you can use it is this way, blah, And again, this is maybe just me because I talk about these games all the time. It's a lot easier for me to just go for an hour. I could talk about a single turbo laser upgrade for an hour. I could talk about one that we already know that's not even news to anybody. I can talk about that for an hour, let alone something that's like brand new, and then we can like just go crazy trying to figure out like cool different ways to use it. So I'm really underwhelmed that this is all Armada gets, is to share one panel with X-Wing. Now it says 12, and if you notice below that, let's scroll down a little bit. The next panel starts at 4. This is the same kind of model each day. There's like this break between 12 and 4 Pacific, or which would be 3 and 7 Pacific. And this is, I'm guessing this is their opportunity to like take a break from doing, like go check email, go do their admin stuff, go grab lunch, and then come back and prepare for the next panels and stuff like that. Because it's the same formula all the way. I don't think that this is going to be like a 4-hour panel. I know some people are like, oh, it goes from 12 to 4. I'm like, it doesn't, though. They got to eat lunch. They've got other things to do. They've got business. They've got a business to run besides just everybody live streaming the whole time. So like, they have other things to do. So that's, and I also think having that 3-hour block in the middle of the day allows them some error correction. If they allow, because not everybody gets a 3-hour lunch break, so I don't think it's just a lunch break. I think if in case there's technical difficulties on one of the other panels and it somehow like something important that they wanted to cover doesn't get covered, that's also their, hey, we didn't get to do the 10 o'clock stream, so let's have him come back at at 1 and do it then. So yeah, Lord Cole is, I'm not even convinced they have the development for Armada and X-Wing figured out. They might not. And that's, I guess, maybe that's my problem. If they, they may just not have much to say. And I understand if they don't have much to say. But if you don't have much to say, why schedule a 3-day streaming event? It's a huge deal. Like this, they built this up like a really big deal, and it looks like it's nothing. It's a big nothing burger. You're gonna get a half an hour of Armada stuff, And I don't. And they talk about like they're gonna say the future. I'm not optimistic. What is that future gonna be? Are you gonna actually talk about something that might go on beyond Wave 10? Because Wave 10's not. I don't view Wave 10 as the future of Armada. It was supposed to have been out in January. It's the delayed past of Armada. We should have already had Wave 10. It was supposed to be out in January. Then it was supposed to be out in February. Now it's going to be out in April, or so they say. So I'm just worried. Do you think they'll announce single ship expansions from the Clone Wars starters? I think that's something that they could probably easily do if they. I don't. No, I don't. To answer your question, no, I don't think they'll announce that. At least not now. But I think what would be cool is if they were stuck. Let's just say worst case scenario, they've hired nobody for Armada or X-Wing right now, and they're looking like, hey, we need to get some more product out there. What can we do? Well, I've got your ideas right here. Like bases is a good start. Bases would be a great start. You don't have to design anything. You don't have to play test anything. You've already got the molds. Just sell us more bases and just drop some food coloring in the vat, and then you have purple bases, orange bases, red bases, green bases, dark gray, semi-translucent bases, right? Things like that. People would buy that stuff like crazy, and they have, and so that's one way to get new product out. But not really new game content, right? Just some flash, some bling. on top of that, yes, you can take those individual ships and the stuff that comes in the starters. You've already got the molds for those. So all you need to do is a little bit of development time, just coming up with some additional titles, and then sell those individually, and then have your art team, put a different paint job, and of course that has to get licensor approval. So maybe you don't go with a different paint job, So yeah, so that would be a very simple idea it would be minimal. There would be some, obviously you'd have to have some play testing. I don't even know if they have any play testing going for these games yet. I don't know. I know Legion has a lot of focus though, right? So let's keep going. So after that first day, after Thursday's break, we come back at 4, so that's gonna be 7 Eastern, and it's more painting, and then at 8 or 5 p.m. So I'm going to talk in Pacific time for the rest of this. So then at 5, more painting. Then at 6, an art panel, which sounds close to painting, but this one's interesting. This one's dedicated to Marvel Crisis Protocol, and so is the one kind of after that also, but it's also another painting panel. And they say, join the AMG creative team to learn how the art of Marvel Crisis Protocol is made. You'll hear from art director and designers as they discuss and show off art from some upcoming expansions. So that's going to be a cool panel for Marvel Crisis Protocol. You're going to get to see, I'm sure they're going to show us what was Carnage is coming. So like all of that kind of stuff is very cool. And I'm going blurry. Let me fix that. There we go. All right. But yeah, so pretty cool. Like that's a cool panel. I don't know if I have enough viewers that want to watch that, that want to watch a Marvel Crisis Protocol art panel with some teasers of upcoming expansions. I don't know, so I don't know if I'm going to cover that one or not. Let me know in the chat, or like hop in my Discord too. I've got a Marvel Crisis Protocol channel in there. Let me know if that's something that you want to watch here or not, because I'm that's one of those that I'm on the fence with, and I don't know if I need to cover or not. Because as of right now, I'm going to cover the 2 things on Thursday, and I think that's probably enough. And that's covering the keynote, or the not a keynote opening ceremony, and then the Armada and X-Wing stuff. And whatever they do talk about there's obviously going to be some like, oh, I have to, pour over whatever spoilers they give us, if they give us anything at all. So that, yeah, there's that. But I am interested in Marvel Crisis Protocol, because while I don't cover a Marvel Crisis Protocol a lot, I do cover it a little bit, and I love the game. I'm very, very anxious for quarantine and lockdown and all this stuff to be over with, and to get back out there and be playing again, because I really want to play some Marvel Crisis Protocol. And by the way, got my first COVID vaccine, first shot today, so it's one step towards being able to go. It's still a long road ahead, but it's really, really exciting. So make sure you get your vaccinations whenever you can. Oh man, it's gonna be great. So I'm very excited, very, very excited. So yeah, so we got a Marvel Crisis Protocol stream there. The next stream, the last stream on Thursday is at 7 Pacific, which is 10. Which is, again, this is late stuff here for me on the East Coast. And they don't call this one Fresh Coats, so it's not a painting stream, but they say that they're painting Spider-Man. And I'm like, okay, I thought they've already painted all the characters from the core set, so apparently they're going back and painting Spider-Man again. So there you go. All right, and now we're going to move to Friday. Friday, we're going to start. I'm just going to use Pacific time here. Add 3 hours if you're Eastern, right? Or add 1 hour if you're Mountain, or 2 hours if you're Central. So we start off with a painting stream on how to pick colors, like how to paint all your stuff the same color, or how to pick squad colors. Then the next one is painting non-human flesh tones. So more painting. And then there's nothing at 11. That one is an empty, because I'm kind of making an Excel spreadsheet, on a different monitor, trying to figure out. Yeah, it's just painting. It's almost all painting. So you guys in the comments are like, that's a lot of painting. There's no Armada on Saturday. No, there's no Armada anywhere else. unless it's hidden, right? So that's kind of disappointing. But then, so we have nothing for 11 o'clock on Friday, at least right now. Now, granted, I was also kind of hoping they would announce another game. We've known that AMG was working on a game number 2 for over a year now, and that was made public over a year ago. And so I was like, maybe this is the time to announce a new game. And they had maybe at 11 they'll be like, oh, surprise, surprise! That's when we're going to talk about our new game. Michael says AMG cares about Marvel Crisis Protocol and Legion, nothing else. That's how it seems to me right now. That's how it seems. I don't know if that's fair or true to actually say, but that is how it looks. And that's just the appearances. Almost everything that they've put out. That granted, they did put out an Armada painting stream and an X-Wing painting stream. So they did put those out. They also did put out a lot more Legion streams, and of course, look, I'm not criticizing them for caring about Legion. Legion's a great game. I love Legion, and I love Marvel Crisis Protocol. Those are all great games, and of course they should care about them. They should care about Marvel Crisis Protocol. That's their baby. That's what they started with. They should care about Legion. Legion is a very successful game that's doing well. That fits perfectly into what Marvel Crisis Protocol does, or AMG does, and they were able to bring over Luke Eddy, who was a developer for Legion. He's now the Legion lead designer. So you've got somebody to continue to work on this game and keep the vision true. But they didn't get anybody from X-Wing or Armada. I mean, like, they didn't get Michael Gurnis or Brooks Fluger-Levitt or Max Brook or any of the development staff for the other games. So that doesn't look good. They have rules forum up for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Okay, they put a rules forum up for Star Wars Legion. There's no rules forum up for X-Wing or Armada. And in the last X-Wing stream, they said, I don't think we're going to put up an X-Wing rules forum. And I don't think they've answered that question about Armada yet. But so you're really trying to kind of treat the stepchildren differently. That's kind of how it feels right now, especially looking at this also. So yeah, I have concerns, but again, it's this week, so we'll see. We'll see. Maybe they'll surprise us and be like, aha, and we're doing Voltron and Star Wars Armada, and we got the license to Star Trek, and we're gonna, who knows what they're gonna do? I don't know. But it is a little bit frustrating. It is a little frustrating since they've got just a shared panel too. Like really, you didn't have enough time. You needed to paint another Spider-Man, so you didn't have time to have at least Armada get its own panel. It has to share a panel with X-Wing. You realize Armada's a tremendously successful game, but don't get your hopes up. You will just be disappointed. Yeah. Look, I'm still going to be excited for whatever they want to, give us. If we get just one single card spoiled, then that'll be something. But really, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me if they, have all this stuff and they give us one spoiler. We're going to show you the box art again of all of the expansions. All right, so we have what appears to be an empty time slot Friday at 11. And then we go to Friday at 12. From page to table, the process of translating character to game rules. This one is not game specific, but if they're talking about characters, it sounds a lot like Marvel Crisis Protocol. And I imagine this will also have possibly Luke Eddy talking about Legion, because this is hardcore developer type of talk. Like, what does it take to make Anakin Skywalker, who's this ultra powerful guy, but then put him into Legion and without breaking the game? How do you put Emperor Palpatine into Legion without breaking the game? Things like that. And similar things like how do you put Thanos into Marvel Crisis Protocol without breaking the game, and ultimate encounters and alternate ways of play and different ways to interpret characters. That's what that panel is going to be all about. That might be an interesting one to cover. I'm not sure if I'm going to cover that one or not. But let's see, what else is there even on Friday out of all the... Well, Friday night is a big one. That's when they're going to talk about Yoda. But they have that one as a hobby stream, which doesn't make... I don't understand why that one's labeled a hobby stream. All right, so let's go back up. Then they have their break, again, from 12 to 4, right? Or really from 1 to 4, assuming it's a 1-hour stream. So then they have like a 3-hour break. Then at 4 o'clock, another painting, making your colors pop. Then at 5, an art panel. And they kind of call this one an X-Wing Armada and Legion panel, but all those games share art, so... it's just going to be them showing off the joint art directors and designers as they discuss and show off some of their favorite art. That one might be a good one to cover also because sometimes an art panel, they may say, oh, you guys want to see some art for future stuff? So we might get a spoiler there, but I don't imagine that the art directors have the ability to do that unless it's pre-approved. So that's kind of like a big maybe. Then we go to another painting one, a solid foundation. A strong basing scheme can add extra level of awesome. Basing techniques. Doing the bases on here. Not like the base coat, but like the base that the miniature stands on, the ground that they're standing on. Okay, and then they go at 7, Yoda. The Yoda panel, now that's one I'm going to stream. Right, so right now it looks like I've got 3 streams planned, at least right now, which is the opening ceremonies, then the X-Wing and Armada panel, and then the Yoda Legion panel. Which is, and it's also a little underwhelming because all of the next wave has already been spoiled. Lion Rampant already spoiled everything that's coming for Legion. So do we really need these things to spoil what's already been spoiled? That's the funny part to me, but that's still cool. Like all we know is the name. Like I'm very interested in the Yoda panel. Don't get me wrong. I know it's going to be the AMG crew hang out and paint and discuss so maybe they'll have a version of Yoda to actually paint. So they're going to have him to paint. I hope Luke Eddy is there to talk about Yoda. I don't know if they'll spoil his unit card or if they'll spoil anything else there. That would be a missed opportunity if all they're doing is painting Yoda. I would want Luke to talk about what Yoda brings to the game. How is he going to be different than the other Jedi that we've already seen? And how do they handle his power level, again, without breaking the game, and things like that. We do know the names, and of course, you're right, we do want way more than that. AMG MiniStravaganza, we're just painting. And painting is great. Like, I love painting too, but as somebody who enjoys painting and is just all right at it, I'm just okay. I'm kind of like a 5 out of 10. Occasionally, I do something good at I've peaked at like maybe a 7.5 out of 10. But but I love it. I do it because it's enjoyable and it's relaxing. I love to do that. So I'm not personally wanting to watch other people paint. So then we're gonna go to Saturday. Saturday's the final day. And we start off with another painting. This one's not really painting. They're talking about actually building the minis, like how to assemble miniatures, base coating, washing, highlighting, and dry brushing. And this one is strange to me because why do you do Hobby 101 on the last day? Like if the target audience for something like this Hobby 101 panel. Here, let me scroll up so you guys can read it. If you guys are just joining too, there's a link to this in the video description below. You can check that out. It says it focuses on painting and assembly, but also it talks about base coating, washing, highlighting, and dry brushing. And how to pull off great looking effects easily on a variety of miniatures. Like, it sounds like it's everything about painting, right? From building it to getting it painted. Wouldn't that be on your first day, right? Why would you wait until the last day when you've already talked about all the painting techniques to then go, oh, and by the way, here's how you Here's how you do the basics. Like, you don't, that seems out of place for me. Assuming that people are going to want to watch these chronologically, I think they're, I don't think anybody's going to watch this. Is where I'm going to. Like, if people are watching already, and have seen all the other things, then maybe. But then again, I don't know. Also, because it's earlier Saturday, so maybe people will be sleeping in. Then we go to Building Heroes. And this is this sculpting team talking about how they design the miniatures. That one could be pretty interesting. Like, that's a good panel to have. I think that's a good panel to have. Probably not something that I will restream or rebroadcast, though, because, while it's interesting, that might be something I just watch just as a fan instead of trying to, restream. We'll see. And then another Marvel Crisis Protocol one. And so this one is, let's see, The Crisis Continues, the evolving design philosophy of Marvel Crisis Protocol. Like, that's the kind of stream, that's a meaty, powerful stream name, right? I love everything about the way that's, just the title alone, the evolving design philosophy. I love that. That's what I wanted for the other games. And I'm willing to give them a pass, and that maybe they just don't have the people yet to do this stuff, but come on, guys, you've had some time, and I happen to believe that a lot of these folks who did work on these games wanted to retain employment with you guys. But we'll see. And so they're going to be talking about the design philosophy with the added bonus of exclusive reveals of content from upcoming character packs. That's awesome. That's like everything you want for a Marvel Crisis Protocol panel. I love it. I absolutely love that. So is that like our third Marvel Crisis Protocol specific panel? I think so. Then we got painting human flesh tones. Now, they already had a flesh tone. Flesh tones have more individual panels than Armada does, right? We already had a painting non-human flesh tones, and now we have a painting human flesh tones at one. So skin, painting skin was worth at least 2 hours of stream time. Okay, so next up at 3 on Saturday, X-Wing 101. So here we go, X-Wing. X-Wing's getting a panel. X-Wing Squadron Packs are a perfect starting point for new players. Join AMG staff as they crack open a pair of the upcoming Squadron Packs and learn how to use the exciting new ships and upgrades inside. That's great. That's a good panel for X-Wing. I like that. But why just a pair? Like, why are you only... That sounds like they're only going to spoil 2 Squadron Packs. There's 3. So what about the third one? And if, by the way, if they're using this as the opportunity to spoil the new X-Wing Squadron Packs, what are they going to do for X-Wing in the first day's stuff, right? So maybe they'll spoil future X-Wing stuff. So maybe this doesn't look quite as bad for X-Wing because maybe they'll talk about actual future stuff, because they're really missing like an Armada like Wave 10 spoiler panel, right? If that first day X-Wing and Armada stuff is only to talk about future stuff, like maybe there's another wave of Armada, then that'd be great. But like, we need a panel dedicated to taking a look at the Wave 10 Armada stuff, and that's not what I'm going back up. That's not what the Armada and X-Wing All Wings report in says. That doesn't say anything about taking a look at Armada Wave 10, right? It doesn't say anything about that there. So maybe it was just left off. I'm curious and worried. All right, so after our X-Wing panel, so that's going to talk about spoilers for the new Squadron Packs, which is exciting. Then the secrets of OSL, right? Making those lightsaber glows, object source lighting, making things glow. And so they're going to talk about OSL. That's another painting panel. Then we get into a really good panel for Star Wars Legion fans, which is at 5 p.m. on Saturday night. So 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to be 8. That's going to be a late stream for me, because I will probably keep the streams going. Luke Eddy is going to be discussing what lies on the horizon for Star Wars Legion. Now, they've already announced a Yoda panel, right? So this is the second Legion panel, which again, they're prioritizing Legion and Legion and Marvel Crisis Protocol, and that's that's fine. Those are good games. I just feel like we're missing an Armada panel, and that's not okay with me, So I heard you like paint, so we're gonna stream some paint so you can paint while you paint. Yeah. Anyway, I should restream their painting streams, and I should be painting while restreaming their painting streams, so I can paint while I stream, while they paint while they stream, and then you can watch, so you can stream while you paint. Okay, I'm gonna make somebody go cross-eyed if I keep talking like that. Okay, so at 5, Luke Eddy's gonna be talking about the future of Star Wars Legion, which is exciting. I don't know if he's going to go into like the distant future and talk about stuff that we don't know about yet. I would hope that he does. I want to hear about sub-factions. That's been on the back burner forever. And it is confirmed. He confirmed it in my interview when we talked a little bit about sub-factions. He didn't really give any details. He just said, I hope you like it. And I'm like, the way we choose to do it. And I'm like, okay, well, he didn't. So that's not a denial that sub-factions are coming. So sub-factions are coming. I hope he talks about sub-factions. But my guess is that Luke is just going to talk about the next wave, which is the Kashyyyk wave. And we already know all of those things. I'm happy to get some spoilers on them and to learn more. I'm definitely interested in that. But, like, it's not really future. Like, that's part of the wave that we've already had spoiled. Like, and heck, they already showed us they already talked about some of the things, right? In the last AMG spoiler stream, they talked about the super tactical droid, and then of course the Magna Guard, and they talked about Yoda. So we've already gotten a portion. We've already gotten 3 of 8 expansions spoiled by AMG in that wave. So if Luke wants to spoil the rest of them and then talk about them a little bit more, then that's cool, because we already have all that stuff for other stuff. So I'm hoping he goes beyond that and gives us something more, because that's good stuff. Then after that we have closing ceremonies and then an after party. So that's just strange, because I don't know what real content there. Now we're getting late too, right? We're at 6, 7, 8, 9 p.m. Eastern, and then 7 at 10 Eastern. I don't know how you have a party online, but whatever. So then it's join head of studio Simone Elliott and director of product development Will Schick as they wrap up the events and panels of the first Atomic MiniStravaganza. And I don't know how you spend an hour just wrapping up everything, because I could be like, did you see all that paint? We painted a lot, didn't we? And then an after party. What's a convention without a chill after party where you hang out with your coworkers and rejoice in a job well done? So are you gonna? How do you? I don't know. I don't know how that even works. Unless it's just what are everybody? Because like it'd be one thing like if you were actually physically with a place and then you guys could kind of hang out and chat and high five and get drinks and stuff like that. But everybody's just gonna be in their living rooms. So I'm going to watch everybody drinking their scotch, just like I'm doing right here. I'm sure that there will be a little bit more to those last 2 streams than they're telling us. Like maybe there will be some interactive events. So Legionnaires says maybe so they can judge how well the event is being received. There may well be some type of interactive property to this week's events. There may have surveys up for you to go do, and things like that. So that's cool. I have no problem with all of that stuff. And then maybe I hope they drink. I hope they pour themselves drinks and let some things spill. How many of you guys remember the days of Alex Davey giving just kind of candid interviews where he just lets things flow. Like, I love Alex Davey, and I love all of the things that he would. No, not drink paint. What's wrong with you? Why would you say that? No. But yeah. So we've got our schedule now. What do we have? We have some extra time blocks and Saturday too. In between 9 and 11, you've got that 10 o'clock block from 10 to 11. That's missing. 11, 12. We have a 2 to 3 block that is missing also. So there's 2 extra blocks of time on Saturday. There's an extra block of time on Friday. So there's 3 hour-long blocks that are missing from what their schedule seems to imply. So I wonder if they are going to announce a new game. If you're going to announce a brand new game, you could easily fill up 2 panels with that. And then hopefully there's another panel that's Armada that just got left off, because Armada needs a... Let's take a look at the 4 new ships. 4 whole new ships, each with 2 commanders. There's a lot in those 4 expansions to talk about. I could fill up 6 months worth of daily content with the contents of those things, because that's what I do, right? But they can't fill up a whole panel, so they have to share one with X. What are we doing here, guys? I mean, honestly, I don't know. If they were in Orlando, I'd just have to go down to their office and be like, move, get out of the studio, I'm running this thing. Because that wouldn't get me arrested. No, I'm just annoyed because, like, why does Armada get sold? I really hope this was a mistake, right? I hope they just accidentally left it off. I don't know. You care about the game, though. They care about paint. I care about paint, too. So I don't want this to kind of come off as me kind of slamming AMG. Well, criticizing is one thing, or slamming these other games, right? Like X-Wing at least has a dedicated panel. Legion has a couple of dedicated panels. Marvel Crisis Protocol has a couple of dedicated panels. Those are good things. I love all of these games, but I love Armada the most, and so I don't want them treating my baby poorly. Nobody puts baby in the corner. Nobody puts Armada in the corner. Nobody. Right? Or unless they do, and then, well, what can I really do? Nothing. I can just cry about it. So, would you make Clone Commander? So I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think. My thoughts right now is I'm going to be covering the keynote. Or the opening ceremonies. I'll be live streaming the opening ceremonies. I'll be live streaming the Armada and X-Wing panel on Thursday. I will be live streaming the Yoda panel on Friday, and then I will be live streaming the X-Wing panel on Saturday, as well as the Legion panel and possibly the closing ceremonies. If they announce a new game or something else, I will squeeze those live streams in to what I'm planning to cover and then talk about. And then, of course, after all of this, there'll be lots and lots more stuff to talk about. You look like the fake Vader from Spaceballs. Well, there was no Vader in Spaceballs. You mean Lord Helmet? I look like Lord Helmet. The dude has a giant black helmet on. There's no similarities here. If you're saying I look like Rick Moranis, well, thank you very much. Rick Moranis is a handsome devil, so thank you. So let's see here. Schick learned the hard way when a keynote live stream flops at Privateer Press. I don't know the history behind that. Maybe that's why there's these jokes where they say still not a keynote. Who cares? I mean, people are, and here there's some problems here. People are way too cruel to strangers online. And people think it's okay to like punch up or whatever. I'm not punching at Atomic Mass Games. I'm disappointed that there's not an additional Armada panel on here. I would love to have more Armada panels on here, and so I'm disappointed. but I'm not attacking them. I'm grateful that they're giving us content. They have done a great job in putting out at least something every week, multiple times a week. They're trying, and I appreciate that. I appreciate these games that we have. Marvel Crisis Protocol is a super fun game, and AMG just did that totally, contained, and now they've got a lot more to deal with. But I'm also concerned about Armada, so, that is the reason for the not a keynote jokes. Okay, well, maybe I'll figure that out one of these days. I know I've heard a lot of people criticize Will Schick and stuff over Privateer Press and some of the history there, and I don't want to get on board with that because I don't want to hold him to the fire for mistakes that I have to assume he's already learned from or he's already kind of had been burned by. I'd rather judge him on what he does now. And so far, I think he's doing a great job. I love Marvel Crisis Protocol. If you guys aren't playing it, I think you should definitely check it out. I play it just as a casual game. Granted, I have a very casual approach to a lot of the games that I play. I play most of the games that I play for fun, but even games like with Armada and Legion, where I'll do like wild and crazy fun lists, I still approach them with a semi-serious to tournament level mindset somewhere in there. Like I never just approach them like willy nilly, but like Marvel Crisis Protocol, I approach a lot more with casual friendly. Like I don't build a list. Like when I play Marvel Crisis Protocol, I just line up every hero and just be like, pick your team. And then I'll pick my team. What would be cool? Should we do like Guardians of the Galaxy versus Avengers? Let's do that. Or should we do, the Black Order versus the Spider-Man and the Spider Friends and stuff like that? Would that be cool? Should we do Wakanda versus like, all big guys and like see how that works out, like Hulk and MODOK and other, just like what sounds like it would be fun, and then we just draft. Well, we wouldn't even draft. Drafting is a cool way to do things too. Just pick your team and just agree what kind of battle do we want to see, and then let's make that happen. So if you guys are just tuning in, we had the whole schedule from Atomic Mass Games posted. I'm not going to go over everything again, but there's the 3-day schedule. It's in the video description below. The overall takeaways are Legion and Marvel Crisis Protocol have a good amount of attention in this panel, and there's but most of it. The All-Star Grand Slam star, the main central focus of this entire weekend is painting. They're going to be painting miniatures the entire time. Now, what miniatures? My guess is Legion and Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures. That's the way most of it looks. They'll probably be doing a little bit of stuff. There may be one thing where they do like an Armada or an X-Wing mini painted, but it sounds like they're doing mostly Legion and Armada. I'm sorry, Legion and Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff. The big takeaway is that Armada only has a shared panel with on Thursday too. Like Thursday's the one day nobody's gonna watch because everybody's at work Thursday at noon. That's another thing that annoys me is like you take your greatest game. And yes, I'm being totally biased in calling Armada their greatest game because it is by far, by a good amount. Legion's a close second. Legion's a great game too. I really like Legion, but Armada is the greatest game in all of human history. And you give it Thursday at noon, which is 3 o'clock Eastern. Like, what? Not cool. Party foul. That's not how you do your greatest game. You don't put the king out to speak when everybody's sleeping. What are you thinking? Nonsense. It's a catastrophe of absurd proportions that I can't handle it. I'm being an emotional drama nerd right now, But anyway, Rebellion. No, Rebellion is the greatest 2-player board game of all time. I give it those quantifiers. Rebellion is fantastic, especially with the expansion. But Armada is the greatest game overall. And, what kind of scotch am I having? This is Glenlivet 14-year, aged in a cognac barrel. I like Glenlivet. It's probably my favorite brand. It's kind of smooth, but really good. But yes, so you think AMG is coasting on FFG's plans? Well, of course, right now, that is certainly the case. And look, all this criticism aside, I'm still willing to give them a pass because this wouldn't be enough time for them to have developed anything anyway, right? Like they said that a long time ago. I know I have been a playtester for lots of stuff. I know how long these things, like by the time something is opened up to playtesting, it's already had plenty of time in development. It's not like they just come up with an idea and throw it straight at playtesters. Although sometimes in the middle of a cycle, there's like hey, well, what if we changed it to this? So there's that, but you don't just come up with something like it. You have to come up with the process. It has to be approved by lots of stuff. Like it has to be approved by everybody over you in the chain. It also has to be licensor approved. It has to be approved by Lucasfilm. Otherwise, they're never going to bother doing the initial development of it and then getting it to a workable stage with internal playtesting, or it's then ready for external playtesting. And that's kind of what I have done. But then by the time external playtesting hits, you've got varying ranges of time, whether it be, a couple of months to more than a couple of months. And then maybe a year after that, it's actually going to be on store shelves. So you're looking at best case, if you turbo speed stuff, like 18 months. Usually 2 years or more. From like, let's design something for Star Wars Armada to let's get it on the shelf. You're looking at probably 2 years. So I don't expect them to be like, AMG has developed this and they're ready to spoil it for you. I'm not expecting that. I was hoping that FFG would have had something else, that was ready to go or at least be announced. But in the absence of that, I was hoping to meet the staff who is working on Armada. Tell me, and this, I'm hoping that that's what this panel is. But at the same time, I want to know who they are, what they've, what their experience is with Armada, and and get to know them a little bit and talk about like their vision for the future, like what are some of the things that they want to do in loose terms, right? Because I know they can't be specific and be like, yes, we're developing the Dornian gunship and it's going to be a combat flotilla. I don't need that level of detail right now. Although that would be great. Realistically, I know that they can't give you that much. But what I'm expecting is like something along the lines of this. Hi, I'm Crabbok, and I'm like if I were like a new Armada developer, I'd be like, look, well, we can't talk about specifics, but we are definitely sensitive to the fact that Rebels have only gotten one new ship in like the last 3 years, right? So we are not abandoning the Galactic Civil War. We're looking at the options of card packs. We're looking at campaigns that possibly can use all 4 factions. That's something else we're looking at. We're looking at being able to have mixed waves that have content for the Galactic Civil War and the Clone Wars era. And we're also looking at ways to come up with expansions that are going to give you better access, and more options for the ships you already have. This might come in the form of new titles. This might come in the form of new ship inserts like we've seen in the Chimera. Those are some of the things that are on our plate and goals that we're working towards. Now, these aren't all promises of things that you're absolutely going to see, but this is kind of where we're at. Okay. So if you just tuned in the middle of that, you're probably like, what? No, those are things that I would like to hear. Things like that, kind of general design philosophies. But at the same time, I could fill a panel with stuff like that. But at the same and interviews, yes, thank you, Patrick. Yes, interviews would be great. More about somebody's gaming history and their hopefully whoever they have for Armada is somebody who has a history with Armada. Same thing with X-Wing. I would hate that if they brought in like just one person who's now in charge of X-Wing and Armada. And have you ever played them before? No, but they look really cool. So that's one thing I'm worried about. But also, this doesn't leave any room to really showcase Wave 10 spoilers. If we're going to be meeting the new team, I want time to meet the new team. You know, and so AMG, if you're watching, let's set up some. If you don't have time for Armada, let me give you time. Like, I would love to set up some interviews with your Armada and X-Wing teams and talk about, you know, who the new folks are and what their take on gaming is. And, you know, I'm not going to ask you like, hey, I need spoilers of all the new ships and stuff like that. Although that's great. You know, I know what's realistic to kind of expect and the questions to ask. So I don't know. But let's see. All right, so I've been talking at you guys for a while. This is the schedule, right? It's in the description. The MiniStravaganza. I will be restreaming certain events. Hopefully we also get a new game. There are a couple of blank spots in the schedule. There's 3 specific hours that are just blank. That I think we're going to see maybe something new or some kind of surprises. I'm hoping we get some surprises because this doesn't seem like a Stravaganza. This seems like a mini paint-a-thon. It's mostly painting and hobbying. And while I did expect a good amount of painting and hobbying, I didn't expect this much. I thought if they were going to go through the effort of announcing this huge 3-day event, that they would have had more to talk about. Because the events that are listed don't seem like there's very much to news. There's not very much newsworthy stuff that they seem like they're ready to talk about at this point in time. Only a few things, you know, and that bothers me because, like, why do this whole big event if you know, this could have been an email, you know. There's that meme about how a meeting, if any of you guys have meetings at work and you're like, this just could have been an email. That's kind of how I feel about all of this. A lot of this stuff could have been a tweet, you know. So I'm betting that there's going to be some kind of surprises, possibly a new game. And if a new game isn't announced now, I think we'll probably hear about one sooner rather than later. Maybe by the end of the year. Maybe around Gen Con time. Maybe they want to save a lot of big stuff for Gen Con. You know, I really do want to see, you know, a lot of the spoilers for the stuff that's already been announced. But, you know, I'm also hoping we can meet the dev team, get some hints on the future of these games. Find out what Mandalorian-based stuff is coming to these games. How come we don't have more Mandalorian content by now? What's going on with that? And, yeah, so those are the things that are going through my mind right now. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. If you guys aren't already in my Discord, jump in there. We can keep the discussion going because I'm going to wrap this stream up. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. We got a lot of other cool stuff. Also, if you guys are board gamers, also we've got some new stuff. How many of you guys are familiar with a little video game called Street Fighter? Because we have finally tracking information for the Street Fighter miniatures game. I know that some people who have backed it have gotten theirs already. I got a tracking number today, so hopefully by this weekend or early next week, I will have a first look, an initial unboxing at the Street Fighter miniatures game. I didn't go all in with this game, but I did get more than the basic pledge. I got, you know, like the deluxe pledge that has all the stretch goal boxes, and I got a couple of the extra expansions too, because there were a couple of other characters that I wanted. I'm not a huge fan of every single instance of Street Fighter, but there are certain ones that I like more than others. And so that's that one's going to be fun. But yes, so that will be coming. We've got some other things coming too. I think Lando and Callus are on the way for Legion. I've got the Droid Specialist unboxing coming out tomorrow, and more news as we get it. I will talk to you guys soon. I want to thank you guys so much. I'm also working on my April Fool's video in advance of April 1st, just in case my testing that's going on later this week ends up maybe if I have to have some kind of throat surgery and I may lose my voice, or if they tell me it's throat cancer or something like that. I don't know what's going on with my voice, but so far today it's doing okay, and so that's good. So I'm optimistic. I'm definitely optimistic. But in the event that I get some kind of bad news and can no longer make YouTube videos, or at least not make them the same anymore, I want to get this April Fool's Day video out, because I'm really excited about this April Fool's Day video. So I'm recording this one in advance. And you know, the more excited I get about a video, it's probably going to bomb. Like, nobody's going to watch it. But for you guys watching, I want you to know that this April Fool's Day video, I think, is really funny, or really different, at least. But I put a lot into this one. So that being said, I will see you guys soon. And stay safe. Stay socially distant. Wear your masks. Get your vaccines when you can. Let's start gaming again just as soon as we can. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet, but man, we're getting to where you can see the light at that end of that tunnel, aren't we? It's exciting. I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons as well. You guys are super awesome, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much, and as always, have a great day.